Media, good evening and welcome to this post-match press conference to the 2025 MTN final. We've just seen Orlando Pirates become champions, and we are now joined by the away team coach for this particular fixture, and that's Coach Steve Parker from Stellenbosch FC. Coach, commiserations for the loss. How would you sum up the 90 minutes, 120 minutes of football?
If it was only 90, I would have been able to have a smile on my face, but the 120 just obviously proved a bit tough for us. Firstly, good evening. I just want to start off by congratulating Orlando Pirates. To win a trophy 4 years in a row was not easy. So credit to them. It's a major feat to be able to do that. Coming to the game, I thought basically the way I thought the game would pan out and the way we played, I think up until the 90th minute was exactly the way I thought. We were a lot more competitive than we were in our league match a couple of weeks ago. We tactically did not make it easy for them in their build-up and controlling the game. We forced them to play a lot longer than they would normally do. So I thought that worked really well, and I thought we were brave and courageous in our own build-up and in our own possession. So I thought it was an even first half. Second half, I thought we started feeling like we were getting some momentum going, especially the first 20-25 minutes. I thought we controlled the tempo of the game, and it looked promising for us. I don't think we finished the last 20 minutes of the 90 very well. We were placed on the back foot. And going into extra time, I felt that we needed to probably change something because the last 15-20 minutes of the 90 minutes we were a lot under pressure. I think the difference this evening was just maybe our substitutions did not have the same impact as what theirs had. I thought the impact that they brought with their substitution sort of allowed them to get to the momentum. So obviously we get into extra time feeling, maybe there's a big opportunity for us, and then we concede, and then, obviously when you're playing extra time in a cup final, you just sort of try and go for it, try and get yourself back into the game, which unfortunately we weren't able to. They then scored the second, and I think it then became a very difficult task for us. They're an experienced team, been in many cup finals, and I thought that they managed the last 15 minutes of extra time really well, and they crowned it off with getting a third goal. So I think just based on the balance of play, maybe not the result we deserved, but based on the performance of the extra time, I think Pirates deserve to be crowned champions. But a pill to swallow 2 years in a row now. But it's, if we're still making finals and we are competing the way we are, then I've got to be proud and happy of what the players have achieved. It's always lessons learned when you lose matches like this evening, and I think we learned some lessons again. We're a team that has the ability to bounce back, and we need to get up as quickly as possible, get over the defeat, and get obviously back into league matches and improve our position on the locker.
Coach, thank you so much. We'll take questions from the floor. Just by a show of hands, if we can get, do we have a roving microphone? We can get it to him. Start with Temba.
Temba Joseph from Sports. Commiserations on the defeat, Coach. For someone who was watching the 90 minutes, would say it was a beautiful game on your side, and you've just partially answered what I wanted to ask. But looking at how your players got to play pound for pound against Pirates, I mean, even the recovery was a 7-second recovery, and then they got the ball back. Whenever they lose the ball, they regroup quickly, the shifting and all of that. It was a well-drilled performance by Stellenbosch. Where do you think you rate this performance going forward, forgetting about the result from tonight? How much of a positive do you take from it?
Yeah, look, as much as there's always lessons to be learned from losing, some of the lessons are positive lessons. So once again, you know, I cannot fault the commitment of the players. We really gave it our best shot. We try to be positive, we try to be aggressive, we try to go pound for pound with Pirates, and I've just got to be proud of what the players done. I just felt going into extra time, their sort of substitutions had a really good impact. Osman Apollos, Moremi, players like Mabasa, they were able to affect the game, and we just a little bit lost our way. I do think that had we sort of just maintained our intensity and energy up to the first half of extra time, I think we could have possibly then gone on. But as I said, you know, we gave it our best shot. Some real positives, some great energy. Nice to have a player like Bradley Mujela back starting matches for us, playing the way he did. And some of the players showed real character, real courage in the face of adversity. So you always look at young players like Langeli Shlepili coming on, being brave in extra time, taking the game to the opponents. And you know, one or two of our new players, Tapelo Mokobodi, getting some minutes. So yeah, a little bit of cramp and a couple of injuries here sort of disrupted us slightly. But positives to take from the game. We just have to be proud of what we've done. But you know, you also want to win games, so obviously we're a little bit flat and down right
now. Coach Swang from Degisa, on your pre-match conference, you mentioned that you use last year's final as an experience. Do you feel like your team showed, you know, growth in this occasion? Just two questions at once.
No, let's stick to just the first one,
okay,
so we can give others a chance. So.
Yes, I do think lessons were learned. Once you get in, you know, regularly into finals like we have, it's our third final in 3 seasons. Sometimes you may not win all of them, but what you do gain from being in finals is we also gaining our own experiences, and hopefully these experiences can stand us in good stead going forward. But you've got to look at Pirates. I mean, you know, they've just had a number of players with the Bafana squad. Bafana's doing really well on the brink of qualifying. They've all got confidence. You know, when you have the ability to start Mbule and to be able to bring in Apollos. They're a difficult team, and I felt we contained them well enough in the first 90 minutes. Yeah, just our extra time today wasn't good enough.
Coach Bandelas, Gula from SABC, Coach. Coach, I just want to touch on Umtia. Last season he was playing for midfield, and you just signed him and introduced him to a final, and he played. He had a great game. Just talk to us about him and the secret behind these diamonds you keep on finding in cases and some things are missing out on them.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you for your question. To answer you directly, our secret is recruitment. We've got a really excellent recruitment department, which, because we are sort of not a club currently that go out and spend a great deal of money purchasing players, it's our responsibility to go and find those players that maybe are not always known about or seen. Mpumalanga has been superb for us, a great kid, good character, trains hard, works hard, just wants to, you know, just achieve and have success. Testimony to his characters, when we last played, he had lost his father and hadn't informed anyone. Gave a big performance under those adverse. And when I said to him, you know, you should have just told us, would have allowed you to go home. He said, I'm here to work, I'm here to make a living, and this is what I'm focusing on. So, you know, when you have players like that and you throw them in the deep end, and they come out strong like they have, I predict a big, bright future for him.
Coach, Ace from Look FM and Mpumalanga TV. Each and every season you lose key players from your team, but still compete and play in the finals. What does it feel for you as a coach and as a team, especially your development, because it keeps on producing players to compete each and every season, even though you lose key players?
Yeah, excuse me, I get asked this question a number of times. So to be sort of frank and honest, it's bittersweet. You know, on the one hand, you're happy for players that go on and earn a better living and move, you know, play like all the way to Makanya, who's top of the MLS, currently playing really superbly, you know, Tylen Smith, not to mention the players that have moved locally, a number of them to Sundowns and some players to Pirates. So when you see Sishle Nduli doing as well as he is, you know, he's become a pillar of strength for Pirates in the heart of the midfield. You know, that's the sweet part, is seeing them develop, seeing them grow. After a match, you know, when Sishle comes to me and it's almost, he's got tears in his eyes, sort of upset on my behalf. You look at him and, you know, you just wish him well and wish he does well. The better side is, you know, you also want to, if you make in finals, you know, and you have key players that you've lost, maybe like Fawaz Basadin, Ishmael Toure, Sishle Nduli himself, you know, you like look at today's performance and you think, you know what, there's potential in this team of mine, and we will grow, we will develop, we'll get better. And a lot of those players will also show themselves going forward. But you sometimes look and you wish it would have been nice to maybe have one or two of them, because they gained experience, they were in a final, they won the Carling Cup together. So yeah, it's a bit of a bittersweet in terms of that, but you know, I don't have any regrets. I wish them well. And this group of players will again rise to the occasion. We've got work to do in the league. You know, we want to make sure that if we want to be in the top 8 again, we have to get ourselves up the log table, so that's going to be key.
All right, we are wrapping up. There was one more hand. Let's go to the sister there. You can go ahead.
And Mpumalanga from Megas FM. Coach Steve Pakasol for your house for the second time in the MTN8 final. Stellenbosch has been the most impressive team for the 2025 MTN8 tournament. So tell us what went wrong and what needs to be worked, focusing on both weakness and strengths of the team.
Thank you for your question. Yeah, as you know, whenever you lose a match, you always want to go back and analyze and where could we have done better. I must say, tonight I felt a little bit I must take some responsibility for some of the decisions I made in terms of substitutes. So the first person that I need to look at is myself in the mirror, just reflect. I just had a feeling we could really go for it. I wanted to be positive. Maybe a little bit in hindsight, could have dealt with it maybe differently. But it doesn't take away the fact that you know, we've competed for 90 minutes. We've just really, you know, they just outclassed us, outplayed us in the last 30 minutes. And when you have such a big crowd behind you, you know, when you get that goal, it can be intimidating for opposition like us when the crowd really get behind them, and it gives them the confidence, and they then move forward and get the second goal, and then it becomes really difficult. So, you know, if I look at our performance based over 90 minutes, it's a big improvement over our last game against them. So yeah, obviously there will be things that we can do better and improve on, but at the same time, I've also got to look at the positives and you know, make sure that we don't forget that to get to a final is not easy. I believe we deserved and earned the right to be here. Unfortunately, we just fell at the last minute.